Betty Rogers moved to the Mount Washington Valley in the late 90s, and using her new, beautiful surroundings as an inspiration, discovered her own art form. Although she never thought of herself as artistic, quilting her fabric landscapes has released the inner artist she says lay dormant for almost 60 years. Her motto, it's never too late to find a passion and follow your dreams. Take a look.
I'm creating fabric landscapes, taking a picture or a photograph or something from a magazine or just something from my head, a picture that I have in my head to, and then take fabric and create that landscape. Well, when I moved up to Mount Washington Valley in 1999, I had always wanted to learn to quilt. And I started taking some classes and doing some traditional quilts, which I decided were too time-consuming and too, you had to match all the points, and it was just, it had to be too perfect. Then I learned how to applique, and that was something that I decided that I loved. And I just decided that I had an old window frame that I had picked up at a yard sale, and decided that what I was going to do with that was to make a landscape behind it. And so I created my own pattern, my own design, and came up with it. And I just loved it and didn't realize that I was capable of doing that. Well, sometimes I'll start with an idea in mind, and sometimes I won't. I just decide that I'm going to create something. So I'll go to my photographs. I always cut out pictures from magazines, and I have a whole stash of things. If I'm working from a photograph, I just look at the photograph, start pulling fabric out and see how it goes together. And then when I find the pieces that I like, I just start cutting them, and they don't have to be exact. Well, my Mount Washington is what I used for my logo. I created that a couple of years ago, and I was taking a drawing class at the time, and I took there's a picture of a birch tree in front of the Mount Washington, and I created the birch tree from a piece of fabric and used Pigma pens to do all of the detail on it, and then sewed that down in front of the mountain. And that's one of I use that as my logo now, because it depicts where I live and where this started, and I just love living in Mount Washington Valley. Oh, everybody is quilting these days. Everybody. It's sort of a lost art that's really coming back in full force. There are quilters everywhere. It's taken me almost 60 years to find my passion, and this is my passion, and it doesn't feel like work to me. It's just something that I love doing and creating, and I never knew that I could do that.
Coming up tomorrow on Chronicle, a labor of lather, the handcrafted soaps of Sweetgrass Farm.